Wait. What? Hello guys, and welcome to another balanced 5-minute rant, and today is going to be about Doctor Who. Now, before you launch your nuclear missiles at me saying that I'm a Whovian traitor, hear me out. Am I a Whovian? Yes. Do I really like Doctor Who as a show? Yes. Do I think it has some flaws which need sorting out? Most certainly. For a show which is ever changing, with a new Doctor being brought in every 3 or 4 years and a new companion being brought in every now and then, I don't think the showrunners are really making the right changes at the moment. One of the charms of the classic era was the plethora of companions it had, with all different quirks, traits and personality. You can never say that Nyssa was the same as Sarah Jane, and on top of that, you had the TARDIS crew, which was forever feeling fresh. They were always creating new dynamics between characters, with the adding or removal of companions, as I said, to create new dynamics. Where I'm going with this is I feel that the current series is going in the opposite direction. The TARDIS team is feeling too monotonous, and therefore the companions are feeling like they've outstayed their welcome. Jenna Coleman, she's a lovely actress, and Clara is a good companion. However, she would have been in the series for at least 2.5 years by the end of it. And also on top of that, you may say, well, that's not too long, but she's been similar to previous companions. They're all feeling samey. As I said previously, the companions in the classic era were really different. Even if you could say, well, Nyssa is similar to, I don't know, Ace, you could say that, but they were years and years and years apart, and that character profile hadn't been introduced into the TARDIS team for a while. The issue with the current series is that it's literally one after another. So when a companion does change, so like you go from Amy to Clara, it doesn't feel like a change because they're the same people and the same storylines and the same plot lines have already been played out. Yes, Clara was a computer hacker in Bells of St. John, but to be honest, where have we seen that trait? And that's what made her different to Amy. Of course, if we swap Rose and Clara in a chronological companion order list, we would be moaning about Rose rather than Clara. It's not the companion, it's the way it's going. My solution is to bring another member into the TARDIS crew, someone who isn't engaged, someone who isn't married, someone who isn't in a romantic interest with the current companion. Give this new companion storylines of their own and episodes semi-centered around them. Basically make them stand on their own two feet. Essentially, don't make it like Rory or Danny where they're almost like a crutch on Amy and Clara. Make them independent. Imagine you're new to Doctor Who and you want to watch your first episode. The job of the showrunner is to make a concept which is easy for the new or casual viewer to pick up, but isn't too dumbed down for the frequent viewer or mega Whovian. This can be easily done with a classic monster, as its familiarity to the frequent viewer, and you can just run from there to make it an enjoyable episode, and on top of that, you have nostalgia to help you out since that amplifies the enjoyment. On top of that, you can have a brief rundown of that monster and the basics of how it functions and its weaknesses and what it does to kill people and whatnot. And it especially helps if you have a companion who is new to that monster, who hasn't seen it yet, as you can tie the links between the companion and the new viewer, therefore allowing that link and therefore amplifying the enjoyment. What is great as well is they can modify a classic monster ever so slightly to improve it and make a new yet not alienating experience for the classic viewer. This was shown greatly in Remembrance of the Daleks when the Daleks were able to fly for the first time upstairs, and this sort of shock element was also shown in the Doctor's face in that episode. That was great because it wasn't like you were changing the entire Dalek, you were just giving it that little extra ability to make it better and to make it more scary. The issue is that they're changing a classic monster to a massive degree, so much that the new viewer can't really pick it up, and the classic viewer doesn't really have a sense of attachment with it, as it's not really the monster that they fell in love with. The biggest example from the previous series, and I'm probably going to regret saying this, Missy. I'm not saying you're wrong to like Missy or prefer it to the Master. If you do, fair enough, but I don't. I think the personality change was just way too much between the two. the Master feels very maniacal and conniving, whereas Missy feels a bit too visually like, oh, this and this. She's too much about the visuals, and she's also too flirtatious, really. The negative feeling towards Missy for many, including myself, is not because she's female, it's because they've changed the core personality traits that it just doesn't feel like the Master. I would have been fine if, like, the Missy wasn't the Master. I may have even liked her as a villain. And it's not just the Master or the Missy which has had this big change, which is too much. Other monsters in previous series have had this change too, which have made it a bit too much. You could say that the same goes for the Doctor, that he changes every time, so why aren't we all in a fuss about him? However, it's already been established that there is going to be a change in personality every single time that the Doctor changes. Something which really hasn't been established with the Master, as every iteration has been very, very similar to one another. That's my opinion on the whole matter. Give your opinion in the comments below, and just generally your feel of this whole situation, whether there's issues with Doctor Who or not, because I'd be glad to hear it and I'd be interested to hear it. So anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I've been Ballaam. This is the end credits. Signing out. All that's left is a window to my soul. Come and get it.